Hello and welcome back to our awesome killer coaching series, Killer Replay. Today we're going to be coaching another video from our viewer, Sabby, but this time she's going to be playing the Onryo, everyone's favorite well-dwelling inhabitant. So, I do want to mention after some feedback, I am changing how I do these videos a little bit. First, you can see me, and I'll be showing myself so that you can get my reactions in their entirety. Second, I'm going to transition over from a reaction coaching style to an edited coaching style where I look at the videos beforehand, I make very detailed notes, and then I go through them with you. So if you see me look at my notes, that's what I'm doing. If you have any feedback on this, or if there's something that you want to see specifically or not, I am very open to comments, and just put them down below, and we'll take that in consideration, and if positive, we'll implement it. In any case, because I am very analytical, I usually cut my mindset into early game, mid game, and late game, which I define as what you do in the first moments of the game is early game, obviously, but mid game is usually about when 3 gens pop, because when you play killer, it is very possible that there are survivors spread out throughout the map. So 2 gens is usually the ones that they get done really fast or first, no matter how much pressure you put on. And I think that's a pretty good early game start, because it usually happens pretty fast within 1 or 2 chases. After that, though, it goes into the mid game, and then with it being 2, possibly 1 generator, depending on the situation you're in, that's going to be the late game, which also encompasses the end game. So in any case, every killer has their strengths and weaknesses at each portion of that game. And I'm going to go over that with Onryo here in its entirety, or as the best that I can. So looking at your build, at a glance, it's got everything. It's got gen regression, it's got gen delay, it's got information, and it's got survivor delay, for lack of a better word right now. The first perk here is called O'Brien. It's actually a pretty meta perk to go right now, or sorry, it's a pretty meta perk right now, and it usually goes along with another perk called Eruption, but thankfully we don't actually see that here. We're just going to have a straight up whenever you kick a gen, it loses 200% progress per second instead of 25% progress without this perk, which is just really nice. And on top of it, it gives information that whenever a survivor completes a good skill check, it gives you a loud notification bubble, and I'm like, why did they add that? I don't know, but it's great. The second perk is Merciless Storm, second of our Onryo perks, which it looks like we have all 3 here, actually. The second perk, Merciless Storm, what it does is when a survivor is working on a gen and it gets to 90%, it's going to give them a whole bunch of skill checks, just a whole bunch of skill checks, and with that, if they fail one, it loses the 10% progress, and it gets blocked by the entity for so long, which is a really nice gen delay perk. Unfortunately, it only happens one gen each time, so and survivors are getting better at hitting those skill checks the longer this perk stays out, but it's still definitely a run worthy perk. The third one, and her final of her unique perks that come with her, is Scourge Hook Floods of Rage. And what this one does is puts 4 Scourge Hooks randomly around the map, just like any other Scourge Hook perk. But this one is whenever a survivor unhooks themselves, or is unhooked by another survivor, if they're on a Scourge Hook, mind you, then it shows the auras of the other 3 survivors, which is just great. The Sloppy Butcher here, the final perk, is a general perk, doesn't come with a specific killer, but what it does is it makes the survivors take longer to heal, and if you interrupt that heal in any way, shape, or form during a skill check, it regresses the progress bar significantly all the way back to 0, which is great. It's a really good perk. The first add-on here is called the Distorted Picture, and what this thing does is and I have very strong feelings about this perk for reasons you'll see why later in this video. But whenever you come out of your demanifested form, you all survivors that can see you, but it's kind of janky on that. But supposedly survivors that can see you within 16 meters scream and reveal their locations, which is actually nice if you're having a hard time finding survivors. And the second The second add-on is one that's really used in condemned builds, and what this thing does is the ring drawing. I don't know if I said that. It whenever a survivor that has a condemned stack on them heals another survivor, it gives that healed survivor a condemned stack. So it's just like passive, natural way to put pressure onto the survivors, which is really nice. Okay, so we're loading in now, and we're going to be playing an RCPD map, East Wing, and this is kind of a tough map for killers, specifically ones that don't have verticality, like the Nurse and the Dredge. And the Onryo has a little bit of verticality to where she can go between the levels, but it's inconsistent because survivors can take the tape out of TV, or if you teleport to it once, you have to wait 100 seconds, which is a god-awful amount of time to wait, but it can still be done. I think she can still do good here. Now, let's talk about the Onryo's early game. So early game, she is undetectable, which means she doesn't have a terror radius, she doesn't have a red stain, or the laser beams coming out of her eyes showing exactly which way she's facing. For whatever reason, the entity decided to give killers that ability. Sorry, I was thinking ahead here, but basically, with an indoor map like this, it is very easy, especially at the beginning, to unaware survivors who don't see their TV scattered around the map, to get a grab. And getting a grab saves you like 20 seconds to like minutes of chase time, which is just fantastic, and it's something that you should try to go for as an Onryo player if you have the possibility. Sometimes you get an open map, it doesn't work, but being an indoor map, I mean, you can get really close to the generator. As long as survivors don't hear you or see you, you're golden. But there is a problem with this, and it has to do with this build. So if we're looking around here, since we started on this side of the map, it's very, if you ever start on this side of the map, just go to this corner right here. Just 100% go to this corner, and there's going to be 1 or 2 or possibly 3 or 4 survivors. I don't know what it is about the spawn locations on this map, but it's great. And to prove the point, there's a notification bubble. So we'll just keep going here until we get to this part right here. So you see how close you can get to the survivors, and they are still working on generators. This is fantastic for her, and you start doing the demanifest. You do everything right here, but here comes the problem. Right here. Oh, that's lovely. Let's get that out. Because you have that add-on, which makes everyone scream within a 16-meter radius, that means you cannot grab them off a generator. With the way that she stayed on there for however long, there is a good chance that you got to grab. You can just immediately smack somebody else, get Sloppy Butcher on some after the grab, hit somebody else, then take her to a hook. Like, that would have been great. And plus, there's 3 people here, right? Being able to smack 1 or maybe even 2 while you got them on your shoulder would have been great. But this add-on, and this is why I hate it, makes part of your stealth kit not work. So anyway, let's go on. So you do the right thing here. Unfortunately, you missed there, but you're hitting multiple survivors with don't know why it skipped there. Apologies. You're hitting multiple survivors with Sloppy Butcher. Oh my god, what the hell's going on? Hold on. Let's wait for it to vendor a little bit. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit better. So I do want to point out something real quick while we have it up. See how this TV has like markings on it, and eventually it'll turn into an eye. Whenever a survivor is within 16 meters of this TV, it will make a noise, of visible noise, and this will come up later in the video. But it'll make a noise, and it'll be playing that video, letting you know that there's survivors within 60 meters of it. Obviously, we know that now, but it can help you find immersed or hiding survivors very easily. So with Sloppy Butcher, hitting a hit and run tactic is actually a very good idea. Hopefully they just don't have a boon, but we do want to note that Vito here just grabbed a tape, and you can tell by the static that is around his thing. So whenever someone is condemned, they're going to have a circle around it, but it's going to be black, kind of almost black behind it. But he actually grabbed a tape. We saw the Carlos, the Cheryl, and the Meg up there. So the only place that he could be is the place that that they're working on a generator, which we can hear on the left. Now, let's go back. I've been explaining a lot of things, but I really want to hammer this home. So you get here. You could have hit her there, but you didn't know she was going to vault that. That's fine. We're going to go down here. She makes a sound when she lands. She doesn't have balance landing. We should 100% chase her right now. If we get this down early enough, then that puts pressure on survivors. You get early hook states, and it's going to help you out later. But instead, we immediately go to the left. Why do we go to the left? It's to go to the veto, mind you. But let's go back here. So nobody has anything condemned, right? We smack. Wait for it. Smack. Now the TVs are online. There's a TV right there, and this is something that comes with practice and when you play the Onryo. So let's keep going forward. You're following her this way. Most survivors would go to the right. That's fine that you followed her directly. Okay, so we go here, and suddenly there's no TV that you can teleport to or you see or anything. So we know that the Vito took a TV from right here. We also know that Carlos, where he was at, and since he's uninjured, also probably took a TV from right where I was talking about the tape and what it does and everything, right next to the generator that they're working on. And then we kick. So getting it down is more important than losing 5% on a gen. I know you want to get a Call of Brine value, but this was not a good idea. Getting that an early down and then going back to a gen that you know was already at like 20% and going bothering that and getting Call of the Brine on that is good. Alternatively, we could have just kept chasing the Vito, but I don't think that was a good thing. And the Meg is already healed, probably by the Carlos upstairs. So those two are working on a generator right now. The generator that you left up there. So instead, what we're doing is we're going to harass the Vito. Since we committed to this choice of action, we want to harass him and make sure that he gains enough condemned status effects. But unfortunately, it looks like that he took a tape, used a tape right here. So he grabbed a tape next to this gen. He still has it. The TV is right there. The TV's right there. Wait for it. It's almost gone. And it's gone. So one thing you should know as an Onryo is that if they take the tape from one side of the map, then just teleport to the other side and you can bother them with it. They can still put the tape in even if the TV's off, but okay. So at this point, there is absolutely no value in chasing Vito. We should teleport back or go back to the generator that they're originally working on, because we know the Carlos has a tape and he's going to be working on a generator most likely. But instead we're manifesting. I mean, okay, so we're going to get hit on him. That's fine. Go back. Teleport to this TV right here. Okay, so we're still chasing Vito. He's going to drop this pallet. Break it. It's a strong pallet. That's fine. And he took a really bad turn. He should have kept going straight. He hesitated there. Okay. So, point in case, right here. We know because Call of Brine, most likely, I shouldn't say no, but nobody's working on this gen right here because it's we're not getting notification bubbles of survivors doing good skill checks. We chased this Vito for however long. We didn't get a grab because of our distorted picture, and they got that gen done, and they're both healed. So we basically got one hook state out of this when we could have got one earlier on the Cheryl, and still kept that gen by going up there and kicking it and making sure and defending it better. So that was actually kind of a big mistake, but we can still come back from this. So we hear somebody right there. have enough wiggle room that we can actually turn around with this and try to see if we can get that survivor to drop the pallet or even hit them and get that sloppy butcher effect. But securing a hook, especially one on a scourge hook after traveling however many distance, this comes with more practice as playing killer and you're newer to killer, so I get it. Securing the hook is also a good thing, but we could have done a little bit more pressure in here. Okay, so you're demanifesting. Just keep in mind. Okay. Let's go back here. So all the way back here, right? This Carlos grabbed a TV, which is we know is the TV right next to the gen that they're originally working on, the one that they popped and gave us notification bubble. That TV, he could have grabbed it because he doesn't really know how the tapes work that well or how fast they gain condemned status effect, or it was to make sure that you can teleport back to it, which is also a thing. This early in the game, it's usually not worth it to do that as a survivor, but you will see survivors do that quite a bit. Now, he picked up this tape, and the entire time that you are not chasing him, he is gaining condemned status effect, and it goes a little bit faster than you think. Okay, skip forward now. We take out the veto. He still has this tape right here. Skip forward a little bit more. He is running this way. We see his outline. We see him right there. It's fantastic. This TV came back online. That's great. We know that one of these 3 TVs is the one he has to go to because he took it from the other side of the map. Now, the TVs usually don't go for the farthest one away, if that helps at all, but he is making a beeline for this. We can see him because the Scourge Hook Floods Rage. You teleport to it. This is great. That gives him a condemned status effect. And what are we going to do with it? Nothing. We do absolutely nothing here. We know he has so much condemned status on him that he is going to either take a hit from you if you find him and you hit him. He's going to take a hit from you and run away, and there's a possibility you can mori someone extremely easy through condemned. Or he is going to commit to that tape, and it's going to be an easy down. But unfortunately, what we do is we walk all the way through here. He puts the tape in, and there's nothing there. And I would like to note that, and I'm going to bring up my pen for this. Oh, sorry, wrong keys. Pencil. So around the survivor's portrait, you can't see it here because you're the killer. It'll give you too much information. It'll allow you to harass people. But there are 7 little things right here. So I'll do my best to make this a circle. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's 7. Let's actually move this. Okay, that's fine. There are 7 condemned stacks right here, right? When he picked it up when there was 0 of them, so we'll do control that, right? Right. So he was like this, and he slowly started gaining 1 stack. Slowly started gaining 2 stacks. Slowly started gaining 3 stacks. So he started gaining 4 stacks. So he started gaining 5 stacks. I started getting a little repetitive. 6 stacks. So it's he was somewhere in this range right here, and we know that because whenever you put a tape into the TV, it instantly gets rid of 5 stacks. So it goes, nope, 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 and nope. And if you have any more stacks than that, it will show right here. So he was at 6, almost 7. You were this close to either getting a down on him if he committed to that TV, or you're just really close. Let me just put it that way, because he still has 1 stack. He had these 6 stacks, almost 7. You could kill him very early. So that's kind of egregious, but admittedly, it was kind of hard to see him coming out of that. Right. So, we go to this generator here next, right? And you do a really good mind game right here because they saw you through this vaulting thing, and one of them slow vaulted through this. You smack her, you get Sloppy Butcher on her. This is perfect. we go this way, and we go and look at the veto. He's very nice to look at, but you should have focused on this one. You should have thrown your red stain right here, and then went back. You kind of just smacked her and let her get away with that, and we're kicking the Jin again when it's only like 5%. Like, that doesn't matter. I will say that this mind game kind of works. She expects you to go away. That's a notification from Call Brian. You smack her. She vaults it. You vault it. This is really nice. We continue to chase her, and here comes one of my favorite parts of the match right here. And no matter how many times I look at this, I cannot find that survivor who did this. It was another one. They run to the left, but anyway, we continue on to Cheryl right here, right? And we see the Carlos come through here. So you smack the Carlos, Sloppy Butcher, that may be worth it, but they are healing each other quite well. And we should also notice that at this point, Navito grabbed another tape. Where did he grab it from? Not really sure. We're not really keeping track of TVs right now. If you notice any changes like this, you should definitely be looking at this, trying to see if you can find the TV that he's going to. So we demanifested, we manifested, screen, hit, perfect. That's a pretty quick thing, but you got kind of lucky with her trying to do the pink glyph right there. Hook around with this. Now, this is an actual amount of progress that's good to kick. And what I would do is I actually would have demanifested as we're walking to there, because you can kick generators while you're demanifested and then teleport across the map or teleport somewhere else. That was not worth it to teleport to. While there is a boon up here, that was such a short distance, and the cooldown in order to get a TV is so long. That's quite ridiculous. And also note that this survivor has a condemned status effect. Now, that could have been the Carlos healed him, and with your ring drawing, he gave him a condemned. 1 stack of condemned. That's something. They really need to fix that with boons where you can't immediately, as soon as you walk up to it, delete it. But we go back. We demanifest for some reason. Manifest. See how she didn't scream there? Very weird how that works. One reason why I don't like the add-on. An absolutely beautiful mind game right there. Yeah, like kudos. That was wonderful. And we have a skirt choke up here that we can take her to. Oh, excuse me. We go down here. So, notice that 2 of the TVs were turned off down there. That probably means that they grabbed, those are the tapes they grabbed, or the tapes that they shoved the other tapes into. We go here, we smack to Cheryl, who has off the record. That's fine. We try to mind game this, instead we end up breaking it, which is also fine. He is not injured or anything. You can play around this and try to get a hit, but it's better when you're injured so you can get it down and then break the pallet, or just break a strong pallet immediately. And look, because we teleported that TV back after we kicked that gen, we have no way to teleport quickly up there back to him, so we had to go through this roundabout way. And we end up not going the way where the 2 survivors are, mind you. We instead go the way that we happen to find a veto. I don't know if this was planned or calculated, but he was not running this way initially, so we smack him. We should go back and with the 2 people, but we decide to continue to chase. And then we leave him and try to do this. So this is actually a good gen to get called a Brian value, but you got to realize they have a boon. Sloppy Butcher is pretty much almost worthless if they have a boon. So you should really be focusing on getting downs and stuff, and then hitting generators or teleporting, and then hitting generators when you can. That way you also build up condemned stats on the survivors themselves. Okay, but demanifesting and manifesting and try to find survivors is fine. We go back up here, teleport. I think he was doing another boon, or he was putting a tape in, 1 of the 2, but no, he doesn't have a tape to effect, so he was actually looking for a boon. So we come around here. You should always swing around these, just in case you catch a survivor by surprise, but honestly, that's fine. Not a big deal, but it is going to extend chase. We come around this way, and he's going to drop that. We are immediately going to break it because it was a pallet. Now we come up to this thing, and I've been kind of harping on the way that you've been using the power and all this stuff, but this is actually really good what you do here. So we smack the first survivor. We hear that somebody else is working on it still. They're very ballsy of them. We smack him. We kick the Jen. And Cheryl comes by here for some reason. I mean, even without that, we could still go chase. Went down and chased the Meg, but this is really good. She goes to the right for some reason, but in any case, pick her up. Make sure she doesn't touch her body, because she's actually stocked as one of the few killers that never touches a survivor when she attacks people or when she picks them up. Go this way. So now we're looking, right? We're looking. We are kind of lost in what to do here. We're going to break a pallet, which is a good idea. Getting rid of at least one of these pallets makes this thing so much easier. But we should be looking to teleport to other places. But the Meg decides to show up and give us a quick and easy down. Wonderful, wonderful. You pick her up. I would take her to the hook downstairs, but I know you take her here, which is also fine because they can do a lot of body blocks downstairs, and sometimes with a wiggle mechanic it's hard to get through the door, so that's all good. Okay, so in my opinion, we have officially entered the mid-game. The mid-game being that they completed their first 2 generators, usually the ones that they start on. I think for the most part, you've actually been doing a really good job of keeping pressure, and they've made a couple efficiency mistakes also. But this is where the game is really going to go, because we have a couple hook stakes. We have somebody on death hook. Well, actually 2 people on death hook if I remember right. And yeah, we go here. We interrupt the heal with the thing. We hit him. There's 2 ways. You could continue to go after Cheryl, but you know she has off the record, so I think you made the right choice of hitting the Carlos here. I would go ahead and break this. That's fine. Now here, there's a TV right below this. You can get more condemned status effect on everyone at this point, because we know the Cheryl's probably running downstairs in this way as well. If you get condemned on all of them, when they heal each other, they are gaining more and more condemned status effect, which means they have to grab more TVs, which possibility of them condemning themselves is even more, or at the very least it delays the game. So if you're running a ring drawing, because of the healing giving condemned status effect, please try to condemn everyone. It just makes it so much easier if given the opportunity. But we're going to follow this person, which is fine. Go off to the right. We go this way. Mr. Carlos. Very easy pallet break run. Very nice dead hard from him. Keep going this way. And we hit him. He doesn't go into the right and vault that pallet for some reason, but that's also okay. We pick him up, and this should be his first hook, right? Looking around. This is actually a very easy pallet to play around as a killer. When it's dropped, and shouldn't really... Yeah, I don't know why I didn't come up with a break thing right there, but you should really try to... why can't you think of the words? Keep unsafe pallets there, because survivors will try to use them more often instead of running to the next loop and possibly getting to the next loop. Okay, so I think what's happening here is that you're kind of unsure of what to do next, because the other 3 survivors healed themselves. You notice how they all have condemned status effects, but depending on how many people healed to Cheryl, she could have 1 more if you would have teleported at lower TV. Would it have worked in the end game? Who knows? But what ends up happening here is we're kind of just camping this out. Thankfully, wait for it, the Cheryl pops up right here. Unfortunately, there could have been a lot of other things to do, and you get a little bit confused. You swing at the air, which is unfortunate, but it happens. Let's be real. It happened to every single killer. So we're gonna go around this. She takes a slow vault there, or a medium vault there. We go around and smack her. Perfect. She drops this. You break this pallet right here. This is an extremely strong pallet to get rid of, especially since there's no other pallet in this room. But when you hit a survivor, most survivors try to get to the next loop as soon as possible, and you really, really need to kill her because she is on death hook. So you should have immediately went after her and or teleport to a TV that's close to her. Which is exactly what you do. Now, if she would have taken a left out the door, this wouldn't have worked out as well. But it did work out, and you know, as long as it works, it's a great play. But here, you said you're newer to Onryo when you said this, and you can kind of see it here because you thought you're demanifested, which you demanifested as soon as you came out of the TV. So whenever you come out of TV, you can hit people. You get a little bit of a speed boost, and you can hit people. Just keep that in mind. Demanifested means that you're not physical, you're not in the physical world, and manifested means you are in the physical world. So, we make a choice here, and I'm just going to play this so the viewers can see exactly what happens. We pick her up, and we put her on a scourge hook, and she dies. And we find the mag, and we smack her. Now, this is actually I'm trying to find the right words. If you want to play as sweaty and as hard and as best as possible, this was the completely wrong move. So he is right there. He is on those stairs right now with that Mori. He is not on death hook. And basically what that means is that if you down him while he is fully condemned like that, then you can, and I want to say this, you can get rid of multiple hook stages, where I think you've only hooked him one time, if I remember correctly, and that's going to require at the very least 2 more or 3 more chases. One to injure him, one to down him, then one to after he's unhooked to down him again, which could be minutes of worth of chases. Honestly, you can get rid of a lot of that just by going after him right now. And this Cheryl, you can just find her again, and then she's still going to stay death hook. There's no way to revert that. And then the second most egregious thing is there are a lot of hooks around here, but you put her on it'd be one thing if you had Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance, that activates the matter if you put a hook on them, but the fact that you have the one Scourge Hook that requires you to unhook people, in order to do something or anything, getting rid of a hook in that good of a spot, it was not a good idea. But a lot of this comes with practice and learning about the killer. So I would go and kick that, but even better, you knew exactly where he was. He couldn't have been very far, and you smack it. So good job there. And he gave you a really strong pallet. You can go ahead and break this, or you can keep chasing him. But I'd honestly break it because he's so far ahead already. Teleport to the other side of the map, causing a little bit of chaos, random confusion. I think that's fine. It is actually really unfortunate that you have 3 TVs that are all on the bottom level and none on the top level. But if you listen, you can hear them, right? And you decide to go immediately after it. You're demanifested. I assume you tried to hit them, but it didn't happen. And we go after DeVito. Yeah, you still don't realize that you're demanifested, which is unfortunate. That just comes with the power. Just remember, if you're solid, like if you're just looking and you don't want to look at this name or it gets confusing, look if you're solid. If you are solid and not blinking at all, which in a more advanced video I'll get into how to mind game that specifically, but we're just looking at beginner and power, or killer basics and power. Then you are manifested and you can smack people. So you do a mind game here, you hit him, and it works out. Perfect. He runs into the wall, which is unfortunate for him, and he drops down here, and you decide to go back around. So that was not the right move. Let's go this way a little bit. We hit it. He runs into the wall. So something that a lot of survivor mains or people who haven't played killer a lot, specifically, even if they don't play a survivor a lot, it's a thing that you get. But let me pull up my pen here, and let me draw my pencil. So here is a ledge, right? This is gonna be a ledge, and this is a survivor right here. That is a terrible S, but forgive me for that. When they drop down, they keep their momentum. And when they hit the ground, this is a little exaggerated, but I'm really just trying to prove a point here. When they hit the ground, they stay here for like a whole second. Like they can barely move unless they have the perk balance landing. 1 second. So if we get rid of this, and this, what a killer can actually do, which is really, really fantastic, is a killer when a survivor, let's just say a survivor is down here, and they are running this way under the ledge. A killer, when they normally fall, can just have complete control of the way they fall. They can go this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, and all the way down to the bottom. Not that many times, but you get the point, hopefully, of what I'm trying to say. So let me show you. So if the survivor is going this way, and let's just say they're right here, right? A killer can actually, as they're falling down, lunge this way and hit the survivor. It is really great. And so in that case, and let's get rid of all this. Now, in terms of what's happening right now, the survivor drops down here, and he has to keep his momentum, and he has to stay here for a whole second. What you as a killer can do, can come this way, actually lunge around the edge in order to get a little bit of distance, in order to get to the survivor a little faster. Or you can just not lunge, go down here, and probably catch up to him by the time they reach the bottom of the stairs, because you have complete control of your killer character. In any case, what instead you do is you go back around and waste a couple of seconds. You see how he kind of like stood still there for a second? I'm kind of harping on this a little bit too much, because in the end, you do catch him, but he is able to get to the next loop because of that specific reason. You do a mind game here, he vaults it, you smack him, perfect. That's so good. You try to do your inexorable stare. I can't say that right, I apologize, but you also got to keep in mind that whenever they have the red ring around their portrait, that's when you can do it. But he, a long time ago, got rid of that tape. So he has at least 2 stacks of condemned right now. Could have more, but honestly, it's kind of a missed opportunity. So we go over here to see how these gens are doing. We hear someone, right? But we hear the noise from the TVs, that sound or whatever, and we also heard possibly a gen upstairs. What this means, and it's unfortunate that you don't have a TV that goes upstairs. That's just bad RNG, which is part of the reason why Onryo is kind of hard to play sometimes. But you should immediately be heading up to that gen. We know all the other gens are pretty much at nothing right now, and we know they're going to be working on this gen. That will allow you to use your Call to Brine when you smack the gen. You could possibly interrupt it with Merciless Storm as well, which we unfortunately have not seen that work yet. And that's why a lot of people don't usually run it unless it's in a impossible skill check build. We're not going to get into that right now, but in any case, you should be going upstairs. We know one survivor is over there, but they're going to be healing, and they're going to be spreading your condemned. So that's something that you should allow them to do, especially when there's a boon in play, and they can heal really fast. But we kind of just hang out in the middle. We teleport a couple times, nothing, and eventually the gen does pop while we're just sitting here, just looking around, which is unfortunate. But okay, while we're waiting for this to happen, let me make sure I'm in the right place in my notes. Okay, so we have officially kind of come into the later game. So we have 1 survivor dead at 2 gens, which is just fantastic. It's exactly what you want. It's so much easier to handle 3 survivors than it is 2. And we come across the only other injured survivor, which is also fantastic. We are now manifested in the world, and he's going to run this way. Now, there is a little bit of a mind game that you can do here, and that is you can put up your hands, and if he's looking behind him, he might think that you're teleporting, and he may come back. You can also go fully demanifest. That way to make him think that you're going to actually teleport to that, and try to stop him that way. But you can also do this, where you just brute force it, where you just break the pallet. And he decides he wants to stay here. You do a mind game, he hits it. Remember, he does have dead hard, so that was kind of risky. You kind of usually want to wait that out a little bit, but it worked out in the end, so we're good. We hook him there. He's on a second hook. We go up to this one. There's most likely, unless there's a boon there, going to be no one there. So I would have teleported to this TV right here. We're getting some great call to Brian value right now. When gens have that much progress, it's definitely worth a kick it, even if you lose a little bit of a chase, because how much time they have to put back into the gen is so much more. Apologies, did not mean to mute it there. So we teleport to that one, right? But I think the better play would have been to de-manifest a little bit sooner, like right around here. De-manifest. It doesn't take much to manifest in the world, and you just got rid of Paladin here. So if you were de-manifested and you see him going right there, you could teleport to this TV right here, and will run back this way, and you already got rid of the Paladin up here, or you'll continue to run this way, and it's usually an easy hit. But instead, we go to this TV. If he doesn't know where it's at, he's going to get confused, but if he does know where it's at, he can just run the other way, and he eventually just gets the unhook. You de-manifest it again coming out of the TV. Don't do that. And we're actually down to one gen. This is actually starting to get a little bit hairy, but we have multiple people on death hook, so all it takes is one more. One more. He has life. That's unfortunate. I don't think I noticed that the entire game. So we come to this pallet, and this is when this is dropped, this becomes such an easy pallet to mind game, right? You just do that, you vaults it, you smack it. Perfect. You don't even have to break this, honestly. It's such an unsafe pallet for survivors. It's for the best of survivors, so. We go here, we hook him on this hook, and if I remember right, he is dead. Yep, exactly. Or perfect. Go over there, check on those gens. You can also teleport there to check on that gen, but you know that two people were over there. And honestly, hello. Yep, he was right there. No, go back around. Back. There we go. Yeah, just follow the blood. He screams, but he was hidden behind stuff, but the Meg was slightly at a higher elevation, so it didn't work. I don't know. This add-on's weird, and I don't recommend it in its current state right now. And he should be dead as well. So we hear it on the right? And the Meg and you heard it at the same time. If you would have, she is going for that vault 100%. If you would take that vault, she can't vault, and you would have got this hatch. But you decide to go around, she vaults it, and she gets it. Unfortunate, but honestly, 3K, it's a very good match. And with that, we come to the end of our video. If you like this, or if you had some feedback that you want to give or comment on how terrible it is, just let me know in the comments down below. If you did like it, you can like it, favorite, subscribe, whatever you want to do there. And if you want to get your own game submitted, again, I'm putting the instructions up on the screen, so feel free to send a video or send a YouTube link with a little bit of a description of what you're looking for, whether you're a beginner, medium, or advanced killer, or if you're a master killer and there's something I can learn. I also love those videos. So in any case, it's been a really great time hanging out with you guys, and I hope to see you on the next one.